Hi there everyone, this is Kerry Ho from thesongbirdtree.com. Now today's video is about vibrato. How do we actually get a good sounding vibrato? Many singers have asked me this, and some of you have also dropped in your comments a question about vibrato. So in this video, what I'd like to do is firstly explain what we shouldn't do to try and develop a good vibrato, and then to give you a couple of tips on what to do to actually develop a good vibrato. So number one, what not to do. There's a misconception out there about vibrato in that it's something that we manufacture or that we create on our own. So if you've heard of other teachers or other people saying that you develop a vibrato by either moving your jaw up and down as you sing, like that, or moving your throat even, you know, like this, going like that, or you know, and this is the funniest one, actually putting your hand on your diaphragm and kind of pushing it in, like that, you know. Now that's all ways that, you know, people try to manufacture vibrato. Now that just comes from a very a lack of understanding basically of what vibrato is. Vibrato is basically a very rapid variation in your pitch of a note, and it actually happens through the natural process of your vocal cords just moving, vibrating, and it happens naturally as a result of healthy vocal technique. That is it, you know. If you're singing, you're finding that you don't have any vibrato in your tone, or your vibrato is either too fast or too slow. It's because somewhere along the way your vocal technique isn't as healthy as it could be. So it's not about manufacturing it, you know. It's about having good, healthy vocal habits. And so the top three things that I would say that you need in order to get a good vibrato sound is, number one, a very good, deep and steady breath. Okay, so what that means is that not only are you breathing in deeply, therefore your tummy and your ribs and your back is moving and actually expanding, and it's not a shallow breath from your shoulders and your chest, but not only are you doing that, but you're also releasing the breath evenly. Okay, an even breath release will enable you to be able to have a good vibrato sound. So that's the first thing. Number two is that we need to have no constriction in our throat at all. As soon as you have a tightness in your throat, then you're not going to be able to produce an even, clear vibrato. So one of the main culprits is a tight tongue. So what often happens is that the root of our tongue, which is basically inside, you know, like here, you can't see it, it's here. If this gets tight, then you're going to find that your vibrato is not going to sound good at all as well. And so in order to be able to have a good vibrato sound, you need to be able to loosen your tongue and get rid of any tension in the roof of your tongue. And the third thing is that we need to have a nice, fully open throat throughout our singing. So here are some tips in order to get these three things happening so that you can develop a good sounding vibrato. So number one was the breathing. So I talked about the fact that you need to have a deep breath, okay? That's how to do that is actually covered in another one of my videos, so you can just watch that if you haven't seen that before. But once you have actually learned how to breathe in well effectively, you also need to learn how to release the breath evenly. So a good way to practice this is to breathe in counts and breathe out in counts. So you breathe in for 3 and out for 3. And every time you're breathing out for 3, right, you're sort of trying to release the same amount of breath with each count. So you're not trying to release like a lot of or most of your breath in the first couple of counts. That's what most people will do if their breathing technique isn't developed. So what we need to do is make it sure it's even. So what we will do is practice that deep breathing, in for 3, out for 3, and we keep moving up and having the steady release of breath. So let's do that now. Okay, so for now I'd like you to put your hands on your rib cage, okay? So you should feel the bones in your back there. And now we're going to take a deep breath in for 3 counts and then out for 3. And as you take the breath in, you should really feel your ribs and the side of your body really expanding out towards your hand. And then as you release it, you should feel a steady what's the opposite of expansion? Anyway, yeah, you know what I mean. It goes back in, okay? All right, so let's practice this together. And breathe in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Now 4 in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Now 5 in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll just do it up to 6 for now, because for most of you who've never done this exercise before, you're actually going to struggle to get anywhere beyond 6. But if you've tried this before, or if you feel like you have more capacity, then by all means take it up to 7 and 8 and 9, even 10. Okay, so the more you practice this, the more you're going to be able to learn how to actually produce an evenly spaced vibrato in your sound. Okay, so the next step in practicing that is to actually begin to release on a note. So rather than just breathing out for the counts, you also release on a note. So for example, this is the note, okay? So if we were breathing in for 3, we'd breathe in, 2, 3, and then release on a ah for 3, okay? And then in, 2, 3, 4, ah, like that, okay? And you do that all the way up to 6 or even 10 if you can. All right, so that's a great way to be practicing a good developing vibrato as well, because you're really practicing a really sturdy, fantastic breathing technique. Okay, the second thing I said was about having no tension in our tongues, in the root of our tongue. So how do we get rid of that tension? It's going to look disgusting, but really at the end of the day, we need to stretch our tongue out. So like that, okay? So when we do that, right, it's the same thing as doing this with your body. Like when you feel tense and you do stretch your body, you feel really good afterwards, right? Because if all of the tension sort of just melts away. Well, it's the same thing when you do that with your tongue. When you go like that, right, you're stretching all of that tension that can sometimes happen here in the root of the tongue. You're getting rid of that, okay? So that's the second thing. And that's my little tip there for getting rid of tension in the tongue. And the third one was to keep an open throat, okay? Now, I've talked about this in another video before, and you can check that out as well if you haven't already. But one of the ways that we can do that is, you know, as we breathe in and we drop our throats, all right, to kind of keep the ooh sound in our throats, okay? Ooh, so say ooh with me. Ooh, okay? It's a very ringy sound, and it actually helps us to open our throat too. So I'm going to give you an exercise now to just practice that, the ooh sound in the open throat. So it goes like this. So hopefully you heard that, you know, in those notes that I sung, and particularly at the end when I'm holding that last note, you can hear a very natural vibrato coming through. And, you know, that's not coming because I'm trying to manufacture it or anything. It's just because I'm breathing properly, my tongue's not tight, and my throat is open, okay? So there you go. There's some tips for you in terms of how to develop a good vibrato. Just remember, it is not something we manufacture, okay? If you actually practice those types of tips that other people might be giving, you're actually at risk of creating damage for your voice. So please be very, very careful, okay? Okay, well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, it'd be amazing if you could give it the thumbs up and also share it with other people that you know who would find this useful. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to write them down below. Now, if you like this video and you would like to see more of these sorts of things, I actually have a free 3-part course at my website, and it is only available at my website. This course answers the top 3 questions that I have received from my students for the last 8 years of vocal coaching that I've been doing. And these questions are, how do I sing high notes? How do I sing with power? And how do I sing without breaking? So I do a short course at my website that answers some of these questions. And just to be thrown in as a bonus, I also include with it, completely free as well, a 7-part series on how to sing Jessie J's Nobody's Perfect. So if you like this video and you would like to get your hands on that course, then please click on the link below, which is in the description box. That'll take you to my website, and then all you need to do is subscribe and you will get that email to your inbox completely free of charge. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today, and I hope you get grounded, take flight, and sing. Thank you.